This is in my scrapbook. This is my Art Attack scrapbook. Ah, hello there. Good to see you again, and welcome to another flick through my Art Attack scrapbook. And here it is. You know, I was looking through my scrapbook the other day, and I noticed that some art attacks that we do are very neat and perfect and look brilliant. And yet other things that we make are very rough and scrappy, and yet they too create a great effect. There are also lots of art attacks in here that look very old, such as this one. Now, you need to draw a fish onto some cardboard and cut it out. So you've got a shape that looks something like that. Then cut the tail off, cut the head off, and you're left with the body. Then the idea is to snip slots in the body all the way along, just going 3/4 of the way up. Now, a quick tip, if you have trouble cutting cardboard, then soak it in water first. That's it, just being careful of my fingers there, and creating a sort of comb effect. Now, when you've done that, just turn it round and bend these prongs first one way, then the other. One way, the other, alternating them all the way along. And slowly but surely, you create a fish skeleton. Then take the head, bend that as well, like that, in the front, and then the tail, bend that over and put that at the back. Doesn't matter if you rip it. Now, you know what happens to bones throughout the years? Well, they crumble. So I'm just going to crunch them up a little bit. Again, it doesn't matter if it tears, just crunch it up. It all adds to the effect. Now, you know the way fossils are made? Layer upon layer of sand, soil and rubble build up on top of a skeleton. Well, this fossil is made with layer upon layer of toilet paper. Now, I've got some PVA glue here. I've mixed it half and half with water. This is the squidgy bottle glue. It's actually school glue, isn't it? I'm just going to slop it on there, slop it all over the skeleton. Now, you don't need to stick the skeleton down to the board, because what happens is the toilet paper soaks in the glue and sticks the whole lot down, and you just paint the glue right across the top. You don't have to be neat. Now, the idea is to completely cover it with 3 or 4 layers of toilet paper, and when you've done that, it will look something like this. There it is. And while it's still wet, you don't wait for it to dry. You take some sand and you literally sprinkle the sand all over your skeleton. That's it, just cover the whole lot. If you haven't got any sand, you could, of course, use some yellow powder paint. If you haven't got any yellow powder paint, see if you can borrow some flour from the kitchen. You can paint it yellow afterwards. There it is, completely covered. Then let that set for about 2 minutes, but no longer than that. Otherwise, all the sand soaks the glue up and it all falls apart. So after about 2 minutes, you're left with something that looks like that. And it's just a case of shaking off all the excess sand. And there you have a fossilised fish. Now, of course, you don't have to do a fish. You could always leave the tail off, make the body a bit longer, and do a fossilised snake. Or what about this? Make the head a bit bigger with a bit more detail and do a fossilised dinosaur. Or even this. Draw around your hand onto some card, bend it a bit, and do a fossilised human hand. Try it yourself and make some ancient fossils.
Hello, it's the head here. Weren't they great? Just in case you didn't quite catch that, here's how to make one. Draw the thing you want to fossilise onto cardboard and cut the bits out. Cut slots in the body and bend them to make the ribs. Stick everything onto another bit of card and then cover the whole thing with PVA glue, loo roll and a layer of sand. After about 2 minutes, shake off the sand and reveal your fossil. And there you have a fantastically fast way of making a fab fossilised fish.
Now, just before I put my sand away, there's another way you can use it to make an art attack. You could draw or write something first in glue. Now, I'm just using PVA glue here, you know, the ordinary school glue you get in the white squidgy bottles. And when you've done your picture or your writing, just simply sprinkle your sand all over the glue picture. Just cover the whole thing like that, and then just pause a moment for it to sink in, and then simply shake it off like that, and there is your picture. In fact, there's lots of powdery stuff like sand you can make pictures with. Try glitter, or even flour. Or what about this? Sawdust. And you know, I also like to use powdery stuff for my big art attacks. Like soap powder, only this time I didn't use any glue.
Hey dudes,